Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ipawa, and here we talk about true crime cases that have shocked nations within Africa. Today's case happened in Namibia, which is in the southwest of Africa and also a former German colony. On the coast of Namibia lies the beautiful town of Swakopmund, and it's said to have been established in 1892 by early German settlers, and some of their descendants still live in Swakopmund. A lot of German citizens also prefer to retire in Swakopmund because of its beautiful climate and beautiful sandy beaches, dunes, and the all-in-all laid-back, relaxed nature of the community. But not even this slice of heaven on earth could be spared of the gruesome crime that was about to shake it to its core. But before we get into the case, I'd like to give a warning that I do speak of crimes of a violent and sexual nature, as well as child abuse, so viewer discretion is advised. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Monica Florin was a 30-year-old German-speaking Namibian. She was married to Thomas Florin, who was a German citizen, and he was 32 years old. They had two children, 2 and 5 years old respectively, and they were living in Swakopmund's Bracken Street, and they just looked like a typical young happy family. But in actual fact, it said that the Florins' marriage had been over for over a year, but for some odd reason they chose to live with each other, opting to sleep in separate bedrooms. It said that the marriage had broken up because Thomas could not keep a job. Thomas was basically a jack of all trades but master of none. He bounced from job to job, business to business, but nothing ever worked out for him. It said that Thomas was first a firefighter, and he left that job to go and become a carpenter. And that did not last long either, and he would stay home, and Monica would convince him to try and look for a job or start something else, but nothing ever worked out. So he then took up another job after his stint at being a carpenter and went on to become a chef. Now, how Thomas got these jobs, I don't know. I guess he's just a man of many skills, or maybe his lack of skills is actually the reason why the jobs and the businesses never lasted. I don't know. But yeah, after he became a chef, Thomas left that job too and decided he just wanted to stay home. Now, Thomas couldn't provide for his family, obviously, if he wasn't working. And Monica kept telling him to find a job because, I mean, they have children. They need to take care of the household. But for some odd reason, the couple continued to live together, even though sleeping in separate bedrooms. And it said that Thomas always had hope that they could rekindle their relationship, but Monica did not want the marriage at all. So in January 1998, Monica Florin started dating another guy by the name of Olaf Gudenhest. It said that Monica and Olaf's relationship never became sexual, but they would do like your typical couples things, whereby they would take walks on the beach together with Monica's puppy. And yeah, Swakopmund being a small town, and people knowing that Monica is married to Thomas Florin, the news traveled fast to Thomas, and Thomas then went on a jealous rage and went to confront Olaf at his workplace and told him to stay away from his wife. And when Olaf told Monica about this incident, about Thomas coming to threaten him at his workplace, Monica would brush it off and tell him not to worry about it because she and Thomas' marriage had been over and that they were just living together, you know, but basically the relationship was over. Nothing sexual, nothing emotional. So in 1998, Thomas Florin's residential permit was expiring in June, and he knew about this, so he tried to convince Monica to rather go back with him to Germany instead of him renewing his permit. But Monica did not want to work on their marriage. She just wanted to, you know, she had started seeing other men. She was done with the marriage basically. So despite Monica's refusal to join Thomas for Germany, he decided to pack up the entire household anyway. He hired people to come and pack up their furniture into a container. So yeah, Thomas Florin loaded everything, hoping that by the time he's done packing, he would be able to convince Monica to join him and the kids for Germany. But unfortunately, she still was not interested. So in early May 1998, Thomas Florin then traveled to Windhoek, which is the capital of Namibia, which is about 300 kilometers from Swakopmund where they lived, to go and prepare himself for his departure for Germany. It said that on the 23rd of May 1998, Thomas Florin booked 3 tickets, one for himself, one for his son, and one for his daughter. And I'm guessing as the date of his departure was nearing by, he decided to travel to Swakopmund in early June 1998 once again to try and convince Monica to at least allow him to travel with the kids, but obviously she refused. Now, according to Namibian law, a parent cannot travel out of the country with their children without presenting an affidavit from the other parent allowing this particular parent to travel with the kids out of the country. So around the time that Thomas had traveled from Windhoek to Swakopmund for the last time to sort of convince Monica to join him for Germany, she went on to tell her best friend Petra Molthan and some neighbors that she definitely has no interest in going anywhere with Thomas, and that she was happy living in Swakopmund, and she did not feel that their marriage was worth saving. So 4 days after this encounter and conversation with her friend and her neighbors, Monica was not heard from, so they started kind of like getting worried because it was unlike her to not be seen around or to not get in touch with her friends and neighbors. So on the 4th of June 1998, Monica's best friend Petra Molthan then decided to go and make a turn at her house. Petra says that she only found Thomas and the kids and that Monica was nowhere to be found. So she then went to ask Thomas where Monica was, and he told her a story of Monica running off to Cape Town with another man and abandoning the family. Now, Petra couldn't believe this story because she and Monica had been best friends, and if there was a man that she was seeing and she was planning to run off with, surely she would have told her. Also, Petra says that it was not in Monica's nature to even think of abandoning her children, so she grew suspicious. She even grew more suspicious after seeing a big burnt pot on top of the Florin stove and the way Thomas was acting. She said that Thomas was scratching for things around, looking for things, but he couldn't seem to find them. He then started saying that Monica took some of his belongings, including some of his semi-precious stones. He also mentioned that she took some shoes with her own shoes, actually, which was a weird thing to mention, but he mentioned that she took her gold-padded shoes with. But Petra says that as she stayed in the house to have dinner with the family, you know, to sort of observe the situation, she went to the bathroom to wash her hands, and she saw Monica's shoes and other personal belongings that a person would just never really leave behind, such as makeup and toiletries. So the next day, Thomas was to leave Swakopmund for Windhoek with the children so that he can continue on his flight to Germany. So Petra decided to call in the Namibian police because she said that she suspected that Thomas had done something to Monica, and she asked them to at least come and search the house. So on the 5th of June 1998, the Namibian police then went to search the Florin house in Bracken Street, Swakopmund, and unfortunately they didn't find anything suspicious, but they were suspicious of Thomas' story of Monica running off with another man to Cape Town. So they decided to also go and search the container that he had packed. In that container, the police obviously found the Florins furniture and all household items, but they also actually found 10 live tortoises and some trophy skins such as lion skin, cheetah skin and leopard skins. Now, in order for one to export such things in Namibia, you have to get a permit from cabinet, and it said that Thomas had none of that, so the police then decided to detain him based on that. Now, at that time, Thomas had already traveled to Windhoek and he was just ready to get on his flight for Germany. But yeah, the police was quick enough to arrest him, and they questioned him on the disappearance of Monica Florin. Thomas told the police that Monica was not missing and that in fact she had run off with another man. So he basically stuck to this story of Monica running off with another man. Meanwhile, in Swakopmund, the Florin's neighbor and Monica's friend Petra Molthan asked her boyfriend Siegfried to go back to the Florin household just to go and search some more and see any clues that they could find, because they didn't trust the police search that they had conducted on their house. After a brief search, Petra and Siegfried found what would be dubbed as one of Namibia's most gruesome crime scenes post-independence Namibia. In the ceilings of the Florin household, they found a human skull. After this discovery, the couple then decided to call the police and inform them of what they had discovered in the Florin's ceilings, and the police rushed to the scene. Another police search was then conducted further into the Florin household. They went back in the ceiling where the skull was found and found more skeletal remains. It said that these skeletal remains looked like they had been boiled, and the skin or the flesh was cut off and only the bones were left behind and cooked. They also found what looked like a human torso that had been possibly baked in an oven, and when they searched the family's plumbing pipes, they also found some of the flesh that had probably been cut off the skeletal remains that had been found in the ceilings. It said that of all the body parts that have been found, no internal organs were ever found. And another thing that had been found was a big black hammer, also in the ceiling where these body parts were found. Forensic investigators then also came to scan the house, and it said that the house looked spotless. It didn't look like this particular murder took place inside the house, but they decided to spray a chemical called luminol inside the bathroom and Monica's bedroom. Now, this chemical luminol is used by forensic pathologists to trace any type of blood that had been on the surface. So when it's sprayed on a surface that had blood on it, it illuminates a blue glow. And a forensic pathologist by the name of Dr. Paul Ludik, who was at the crime scene, said that the bathroom lit up like a Christmas tree. They found a lot of traces of blood in the bathroom, and it was determined that this body was probably cut up inside the Florin's bathroom. They also found traces of blood on Monica's beddings and on the floor. It said that a bloody footprint was also observed on the floor of Monica's bedroom, and it said that this footprint belonged to a shoe that belonged to Thomas Florin. Upon this discovery, Thomas Florin was officially charged for the murder of Monica Florin. He denied involvement and stuck to his story of thinking that Monica had run off with another man for Cape Town. During his trial in the Windhoek High Court, Thomas Florin chose to remain silent throughout the trial. He was represented by a Cape Town-based lawyer by the name of Francis Murray, who argued that Thomas Florin was innocent and that the state did not prove beyond reasonable doubt that the blood stains that were found in the Florin's house was that of human blood, and that the body that was actually found in the Florin household was not proven beyond reasonable doubt that it belonged to Monica Florin. The state argued that Thomas Florin had planned to murder his wife if she refused to allow him to travel to Germany with the children, and they stated that Thomas Florin initially bought 3 tickets, meaning that he did not plan on going to Germany with his wife at all. He actually didn't come to convince her. He came to murder her when he traveled to Swakopmund for the last time. And some witnesses even came to testify that Thomas Florin had told them weeks prior that Monica Florin had told him that she was going to leave him for another man on the 2nd of June, which is kind of weird for somebody to actually tell someone that I'm going to abandon the family on the 2nd of June with the exact date, which is the day that Monica Florin was last seen. A witness also came forward with a duvet that they said was given to them by Thomas Florin after the disappearance of Monica in exchange for some semi-precious stones, and this duvet was also tested for blood stains, and it came back positive. The state said that it had proven beyond reasonable doubt that Thomas Florin had murdered his wife Monica Florin for the fact that she wouldn't allow him to travel with the kids to Germany. On the 22nd of December 1999, Thomas Florin was found guilty in the Windhoek High Court. It said that the court was packed with people who wanted to see this person that had committed such a horrendous crime, and every journalist wanted to get a glimpse of Thomas Florin, who was described as very calm, and he looked like he was not remorseful at all. A journalist asked him why he chose to remain silent during his trial, and he answered her by saying, and I quote, "Should I have said that the witnesses were lying? All of this was a theater play after all." End quote. Thomas Adolphe Florin was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Monica Florin and 3 months in prison for his attempt to export unlicensed trophies. Judge Piotier, who sentenced Thomas Florin, recommended that Florin does not get released from prison until 15 years have lapsed. In 2014, which is 14 years after his prison sentence, Thomas Florin applied for parole, and in 2016 he was granted parole, and he is now eligible for parole in 2024. It says that Thomas and Monica's children live in Germany with Thomas' parents. Well guys, we have come to yet another end of hopefully entertaining video, and I would like for us to engage in comments about this case. Let me know what you think of this case, and if you have any recommendations on any cases that you want me to do that have happened within Africa, let me know in comments and I will look into it. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you on the next one.